Have you ever stood up from your bed in the morning, only to feel your legs tremble slightly, as if they were unsure whether they could carry you to the bathroom? Just a few steps away, you reach for the wall, steady yourself. The sun filters through the curtain. The kettle whistles faintly in the kitchen, but your body whispers a quiet truth. Something isn't as strong as it used to be. And in that moment, your home, once familiar and comforting, feels a little larger, a little more daunting. Not because of fear, but because your legs, your foundation, are no longer the same. Have you ever felt like your body is quietly slipping away from the person you used to be? The truth is, your legs don't fade overnight. They fade slowly, silently, unless you choose to fight back. And it begins with food. 3 simple, nourishing foods can help you reclaim the strength that time has tried to steal. If you still believe you can grow stronger from where you are today, comment below, "I choose to rebuild," or "My strength begins today." And if these words echo something inside you, subscribe to Olive Wisdom, because we're not just growing older, we're growing wiser together. So if lately your legs feel weaker, if climbing stairs feels steeper, or even standing from your chair feels harder than it used to, don't ignore it. Because when strength fades, it doesn't go all at once. It disappears, quietly. But here's the good news. With the right nourishment, we can gently bring it back. Let's start with the first, and perhaps most comforting, step: protein. 1. Protein-rich foods, chicken, the simple meal that helps you stand strong. Have you ever tried to stand up from your favorite recliner, only to feel your legs tremble beneath you? Not from illness, not from injury, but from a quiet fading of strength that seems to happen with time, almost without warning. It's a subtle shift. One day walking to the kitchen feels ordinary. The next it feels like a small mountain. This is something many older adults experience, a natural loss of muscle mass called sarcopenia, which accelerates as we age. And one of the first places we feel it? Our legs, the very foundation of our independence. But here's the hopeful truth. You can slow it down, and in many cases, even reverse part of it, starting with what's on your plate. And few foods are as effective, affordable, and familiar as chicken. Imagine a warm, home-cooked chicken dinner. Not a gourmet dish, just a simple, well-seasoned, tender piece of chicken breast, maybe paired with some vegetables and rice. This meal isn't just comforting, it's medicine in disguise. Because chicken is one of the best sources of high-quality, lean protein, the very building block your muscles need to stay strong. Your muscles don't just need movement, they need fuel. And protein is that fuel. Unlike carbohydrates or fats, your body doesn't store extra protein. That means you need it every single day, especially if you want to protect the muscles that keep you standing, walking, and living independently. I've seen it in my own life and in the lives of others around me. A friend of mine, John, used to struggle just getting from his chair to the dining table. He began adding a serving of chicken to one meal a day, nothing fancy, just a portion the size of his palm. Within weeks, he wasn't just walking better. He felt more energetic, more balanced, and more confident in his own body. The recommended amount of protein for older adults is higher than you might think, about 1 to 1.2 grams per kilogram of body weight per day. For a 160-pound adult, that's roughly 70 to 85 grams daily. A single serving of chicken breast can give you 25 to 30 grams in one meal, a huge step toward maintaining muscle strength and mobility. The best part? Chicken is easy to prepare. Whether you like it grilled, roasted, shredded into soups, or mixed into salads, it adapts to every taste and dietary need. And for those who've lost some interest in cooking or find it hard to navigate the kitchen alone, there are plenty of pre-cooked or rotisserie options that still deliver quality nutrition without the effort. But here's the deeper message. Eating well is an act of reclaiming your independence. It's not just about protein or numbers or nutrients. It's about what that protein allows you to keep doing. gardening, walking to the mailbox, going to church, picking up your grandchild. When we feed our muscles, we feed our freedom. So the next time you plan a meal, think about that piece of chicken not as just dinner, but as a small promise to yourself. I want to stay strong. I want to stand tall. I want to keep moving. Because age may take many things, but with the right habits, your strength doesn't have to be one of them. Each bite of chicken, each small effort to eat better becomes a quiet declaration. I am still here, and I still choose strength. But protein is just one part of the picture. Because even if we build strong muscles, our bones need support too. That's where something surprisingly powerful steps in. Vitamin D, in one of the tastiest, most reliable sources. A beautiful, tender piece of salmon. 2. Vitamin D-rich foods. Salmon, the sunshine nutrient for stronger legs and bones. Have you ever looked outside on a cloudy day and felt that subtle, quiet ache in your joints, as if your body was longing for a little bit of sunshine? As we age, that craving isn't just emotional, it's physical, because sunlight gives us vitamin D, a vital nutrient that helps our bones stay strong, our muscles work properly, and yes, helps us keep walking without fear of falling. But here's the catch. As we grow older, our skin becomes less efficient at absorbing vitamin D from the sun, and many of us spend more time indoors. That means we need to be even more intentional about how we get this essential nutrient. And one of the best, most delicious ways is through salmon. You might already know that calcium keeps bones strong, but here's what many people don't realize. Calcium can't do its job without vitamin D. Vitamin D acts like a key that unlocks your body's ability to absorb calcium. Without it, all the calcium in the world can't reach your bones. The result? Weak bones, higher risk of fractures, and legs that don't feel quite as sturdy anymore. For older adults, this is serious. A minor fall can turn into a major injury, and every step we take feels a little more uncertain when our bones aren't properly supported from the inside out. Now picture this, a perfectly cooked piece of pink, flaky salmon, lightly seasoned, warm on the plate. Not only is it rich in omega-3s, which support heart and brain health, it's also one of the richest natural sources of vitamin D. Just one 3.5-ounce, 100-gram serving of cooked salmon provides up to 600 to 1,000 IU of vitamin D, which covers nearly all the daily needs for most older adults. Compare that to the tiny amounts in fortified milk or cereal, and it's clear why salmon is such a powerhouse. Even better, salmon is soft, easy to chew, and incredibly versatile. Bake it, grill it, flake it into a salad or sandwich. It fits right into any mealtime without fuss. A resident here at the community home, Marjorie, once shared something with me. She said, "When I was younger, salmon was a celebration food. Now it's a survival food, and I mean that in the best way." She began eating salmon twice a week after her doctor noticed early signs of bone thinning. Months later, her energy improved, her balance returned, and most importantly, her confidence in walking came back. It wasn't a miracle, it was a choice, a small, thoughtful change that gave her body what it was quietly begging for. If you're not a fan of salmon, don't worry. Other fatty fish like mackerel, sardines, and trout are also great sources of vitamin D. But salmon remains one of the tastiest and most widely available options. Fresh, frozen, or canned. And if fish just isn't your thing, talk to your doctor about vitamin D supplements, especially if you spend most of your time indoors. The goal isn't perfection, it's protection. Protection for your legs, your bones, and your ability to keep moving independently. Vitamin D doesn't just help your body, it helps your spirit. When you feel stable on your feet, when your bones feel supported, when walking no longer feels like a risk, that's freedom, that's confidence, that's peace of mind. So the next time you sit down for a meal, ask yourself, is this food helping me stay strong? And maybe reach for the salmon, because the sun might not always shine outside, but with the right food, it can still shine inside you. With every bite of salmon, I feel like I'm doing something kind for my bones, giving them the help they need to carry me through the day. But there's one more ally we often forget, one that grows from the earth itself. It's colorful, humble, and often sitting quietly on the side of our plate. Let's talk about the unsung hero of strong bones, leafy greens. 3. Calcium-rich foods, leafy greens, quiet strength on every plate. Have you ever stood up a little too fast and felt your knees wobble just enough to remind you your legs aren't what they used to be? For many of us over 60, that moment becomes more than just a passing thought. It becomes a quiet warning. Our bones and joints are whispering for help. And often, without realizing it, we overlook one of the most powerful allies we have in staying upright, steady and strong: calcium. Yes, that same nutrient our parents once pushed through a glass of milk. But today, one of the most powerful absorbable sources of calcium doesn't come from a bottle or carton. It comes from the garden. When we think of strong bones, we think of calcium. But what many don't realize is that not all calcium is created equal. As we age, our bodies become less efficient at absorbing it, meaning we need smarter sources, not just more. That's where leafy greens come in. Vegetables like collard greens, kale, spinach, bok choy, and arugula are packed with highly absorbable forms of calcium, plus vitamin K, magnesium, and antioxidants, all of which support bone density and joint health. Picture a bowl of fresh, sautéed kale with a drizzle of olive oil and garlic, or a spinach and arugula salad with a splash of lemon. Colorful, flavorful, and full of life. These aren't just side dishes, they're a form of self-care served with a fork. As we get older, bone density naturally decreases. For women, this drop is often dramatic after menopause. For men, it happens more gradually, but no less significantly. Without enough calcium, bones become brittle. A small stumble can mean a serious fracture, and that fracture can lead to months or years of lost mobility. Greens offer a gentle, natural way to protect against that. Unlike some calcium pills that may be hard to digest or poorly absorbed, the calcium in greens comes with a team of supporting nutrients your body recognizes and uses more effectively. I remember speaking with Henry, a retired carpenter in our community center. He told me how, after a minor fall that cracked a rib, he began to rethink everything he ate. "I used to think eating greens was just for people trying to lose weight," he said with a chuckle. "Now I eat them because I want to stay on my feet." He made one simple change: a serving of leafy greens at least once a day. Whether tossed into an omelet, folded into soup, or added to his sandwiches, it became his daily armor. And the difference? "I feel more grounded," he said, "less creaky, more confident stepping into the day." You don't need to become a salad lover overnight. There are plenty of easy, tasty ways to fold more calcium-rich greens into your routine. Add spinach to scrambled eggs or soups. Toss arugula on top of pasta or pizza. Blend kale or collards into a smoothie with banana and berries. Stir-fry bok choy or mustard greens with garlic and sesame oil. Sneak a handful into sandwiches or wraps. Remember, consistency matters more than quantity. One small serving a day is better than none at all. And variety keeps things interesting. Each green has its own unique benefits. Eating leafy greens isn't just about calcium or bones. It's about reclaiming a small but powerful part of your independence. It's saying, "I choose to support my body today." When your legs feel stronger, you walk more. When you walk more, you feel more confident. And when you feel more confident, you live more fully. So, whether it's spinach in your soup or kale in your skillet, remember, you're not just feeding your body. You're laying a foundation for strength, stability, and freedom, one green at a time. Still, nutrition alone isn't enough. As we age, maintaining strong, healthy legs and a body that supports our independence requires more than just what's on our plate. The choices we make every day, in the way we move, rest, and relate to others, also play a powerful role in preserving our strength and vitality. I remember the first time I joined an exercise group here at the home. I was hesitant, unsure whether I could keep up or if I even wanted to try. But I quickly realized it wasn't about lifting heavy weights or breaking a sweat. It was about reconnecting with our bodies in small, intentional ways. A few seated leg lifts, light stretches, and gentle balance exercises slowly became a source of joy. Yes, real joy. With every movement, I felt just a little more in control. I started to notice that getting out of bed became easier. Climbing the steps to the garden didn't feel like a mountain anymore. What seemed small Lifting one foot, standing a few seconds longer, turned out to be a quiet revolution. One step at a time, I felt stronger, steadier, and more rooted in myself. It wasn't just the physical progress that mattered. It was the laughter we shared as we wobbled during balance drills, the nods of encouragement when someone tried something new. Exercise, I've come to learn, isn't just about building muscle. It's about building momentum, community, and confidence. And in these golden years, those things matter more than ever. But movement alone isn't enough if our bodies are thirsty for something even simpler. Water. I never used to think much about hydration. A cup of tea here, a bit of juice there. I thought it was enough, but I began noticing how sluggish I felt on certain days. My joints ached more, my energy dipped faster, and walking around felt like dragging heavy weights. It wasn't until a visiting nurse explained that even mild dehydration can sap muscle function and increase the risk of falls that something clicked. Water wasn't just about quenching thirst, it was about protecting my mobility. Now I keep a small pitcher of lemon water on my table. I sip before meals, after walks, and anytime I feel a hint of fatigue creeping in. And I've noticed the difference. Clearer thoughts, looser joints, and fewer of those dizzy spells that used to creep up unexpectedly. Sometimes I add slices of cucumber or berries just to keep it interesting. And it's become a comforting ritual, one that reminds me I'm nourishing my body in a way that's simple but essential. Of course, taking care of ourselves also means being proactive, especially when it comes to checkups. There was a time I'd avoid doctor visits unless something really felt wrong, but aging has taught me that waiting often turns small problems into big ones. Now I welcome my regular health checkups as touch points of awareness. They're not about finding flaws, but about tuning in, learning what's working, what needs support, and how I can adjust before something becomes serious. One checkup helped me catch a vitamin D deficiency early, which led me to change my diet and start light supplementation. Another time, a simple balance test revealed how I could strengthen my legs with a few targeted exercises. These weren't grand interventions. They were small, practical insights that kept me upright and moving. And just as important, those appointments offered me something else. Someone who listened. A space where my voice mattered, where I could share how I felt, not just what was measurable. I began to see that checkups weren't just about numbers. They were a form of self-respect, a way of saying, I still matter. My life still deserves care. Still, no physical strength can thrive in isolation. That's a truth I came to understand slowly, especially after the initial months of withdrawing socially, telling myself I preferred the quiet. But what I've realized is that our legs don't just carry us, they carry our stories. And those stories need to be shared. Whether it's a lighthearted conversation over a crossword puzzle or reminiscing with an old friend about youthful mischief, these moments breathe life into our spirits. They remind us of who we've been and who we still are. I've found deep joy in simple gatherings, laughter at bingo, encouragement during group exercise, or quiet companionship during a movie night. These are not just distractions, they are lifelines. Our mental well-being, our emotional resilience, they all tie back to the connections we cultivate. And strangely enough, it's in these bonds that I find strength returning to my body too. When I feel seen, heard, and cared for, I move with more ease. My posture straightens, my energy renews. If there's one thing I've learned, it's that health isn't just physical. It's woven from movement, nourishment, hydration, reflection, and connection. Each piece builds on the other. Chicken may fuel your muscles, salmon may fortify your bones, leafy greens may protect you from falls, but without motion, without self-awareness, without love and laughter, the body cannot fully thrive. So to anyone walking this path beside me, let's take the next step. Let's walk. Let's drink water. Let's make that checkup appointment. Let's share stories, songs, or a silent smile. Not because we're chasing youth, but because we're choosing life, even as the years deepen. And sometimes that one step is all it takes to feel strong again. As we grow older, it's easy to believe that strength fades and that the best days are behind us. But what I've come to realize, and what I hope you take from this gentle journey, is that strength doesn't always roar. Sometimes it shows up in the quiet moments. A thoughtful meal, A walk in the sunshine, a sip of water, or a conversation that makes your heart feel seen. Our legs may grow weary with time, but that doesn't mean they have to give out. Through nourishing foods, gentle movement, and the company of those who care, we can continue to stand, walk, and live with dignity, not for anyone else's approval. Not to chase youth, but to honor the life that still pulses within us. So if you felt fragile lately or forgotten, know this. Every step you take to care for yourself, no matter how small, is a powerful act of self-love. And that love is what keeps us going. If this message spoke to you, I invite you to share it with someone who might need this reminder. And if you'd like to keep walking this path of wisdom, warmth, and well-being together, gently press subscribe. Here at Olive Wisdom, we're building a community where aging isn't feared, it's cherished. Thank you for spending these moments with me. Take care of your body, protect your peace, and never forget, you still have so much life worth living.